I've been turning wrenches for 38 years. I've bought and sold more trucks than most people have had hot meals. And the single best piece of advice I can give you right now is this. Stop walking into dealerships thinking they're on your side. They are not. They never were. The dealership is a machine built to extract as much money from you as possible before you figure out what happened. But there's another way. A way that saves most buyers somewhere between $3,000 and $8,000 on a used truck. It's called buying private sale, and dealers hate it when people figure this out. I'm not talking about some sketchy back alley transaction. I'm talking about a legitimate, totally legal process where a regular person sells their truck directly to another regular person. No finance manager, no document fees, no dealer markup, no pressure tactics, just two people making a deal. I've done it dozens of times myself. I've helped my sons do it. I've walked friends through it over the phone. And every single time the buyer walked away with more truck for less money than they'd have gotten at any lot in their county. So let me walk you through exactly how I do it, where I find the trucks, how I talk to sellers, what I look at before I hand over a dollar, how I handle the paperwork, all of it. By the time you're done watching this, you'll know how to do what smart truck buyers have always known how to do. The first thing you need to know is where to look. The three places I go to when I'm hunting for a private sale truck are Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, and local auto trader publications. Facebook Marketplace is where I start every single time. It's become the dominant platform for private vehicle sales in the last several years. You can filter by location, price range, year, and make. Most listings have multiple photos now. Sellers are usually responsive because they're tied to their real identity. That accountability matters. Craigslist still has solid inventory in most regions. It tends to attract older sellers who aren't as comfortable with Facebook. Some of the best deals I've found were on Craigslist because those listings get less traffic. Less competition means more leverage for you. The interface is ugly, but the deals are real. Don't sleep on it. Local auto trader papers and websites vary by region. In rural Texas, we still have local publications that run vehicle classifieds. People who advertise there tend to be serious sellers who've had the truck a long time. They're not in a hurry for internet clicks. They want a local buyer they can shake hands with. That works in your favor. When you're searching, look for trucks being sold by the original owner. You'll see listings that say things like, one owner, or bought new in 2017. That's the kind of seller you want to talk to. They know the truck's full history because they lived it. They know where it was serviced. They remember the one time they scraped the trailer hitch on a concrete barrier. That honesty is gold compared to buying from some third-party lot. Now let's talk about why private sale negotiations are fundamentally different from dealer negotiations. At a dealership, you are dealing with trained professionals. They negotiate for a living. They have scripts. They have managers. They have financing tricks. They know exactly how to wear you down. A private seller is none of that. A private seller is usually someone who has owned that truck for years. They've washed it. They've used it for their business or their family. They have an emotional connection to it. That emotional connection is not a bad thing. It actually works in your favor if you handle it right. Private sellers are motivated by trust. They want to sell to someone who will take care of the truck. If you come in respectful and show genuine interest, you build rapport fast. And once there's rapport, the conversation about price is a lot easier. The leverage you have in a private sale is real and significant. The seller has one truck to sell. They don't have a sales team to take over if they don't close you today. They don't have a manager breathing down their neck about monthly targets. If you walk, they have to list it again and wait for the next buyer. That gives you power. Use it. Here's how I open a negotiation. I never lead with price. I ask questions first. I ask how long they've owned it. I ask what they used it for. I ask if they have service records. I ask where they took it for oil changes. These questions do two things. They give me real information about the truck, and they tell the seller I'm serious and I know what I'm doing. A serious, informed buyer is exactly what a private seller wants. They relax around you. After I've built a little trust and done my walk around, then I talk about price. I don't counter with a lowball number that insults them. That kills rapport fast. I do my homework before I show up. I know what that year, make, trim, and mileage sells for in my region. I look at comparable listings on the platforms I mentioned. I look at what similar trucks are actually selling for, not just listed for. Listings are asking prices. Sales are real prices. Use sold listings on platforms that show them. I come in with a fair but firm number that accounts for any issues I've spotted. If the tires are worn, I mention the cost of new tires. If there's a minor rust spot on the wheel well, I mention it. Not to be harsh, but to anchor the conversation in reality. Sellers respect honesty, and when you show them you've done your homework, they take your offer seriously. Now let me get into what I actually look at when I inspect a truck before buying private sale. This is where being a mechanic for 38 years comes in handy. But you don't have to be a mechanic to do a solid basic inspection. You just have to know what to look for and where. Start with the oil. Pull the dipstick. Look at the color. Fresh oil is amber colored. Old oil goes dark brown to black. That's normal. What you don't want to see is milky or foamy oil. That tells you coolant is mixing with oil. That's a blown head gasket or worse. It's a serious problem. You don't want that truck. Also smell the oil. If it smells like gas, there's fuel getting past the rings. Both of these are walk-away situations. Check the coolant reservoir. Look at the color and the level. Most modern trucks run orange or green coolant. What you don't want is brown, rusty-colored coolant or anything that looks oily. Also check the oil fill cap. Pull it off and look on the underside. If you see a creamy brown residue up there, that's the coolant oil mixing sign again. Big red flag. Get under the truck. I mean it. Get down on the ground with a flashlight and look at the frame rails. This is especially important on older trucks and trucks from northern states or coastal areas. Frame rust can range from minor surface rust to full structural rot. Surface rust is common and acceptable on older trucks. Structural rust means holes in the frame, flaking scale, or areas where you can push your finger through. That is a safety issue and a deal breaker. Don't let a clean exterior fool you. The frame tells the real story. Check the front differential and the transfer case for oil leaks. Look at the transmission pan. Look at the rear differential. Small seeps are common on high mileage trucks. Active drips or puddles of gear oil or transmission fluid tell you the seals are failing. Budget for that repair and adjust your offer, or walk away if it's significant. Look at the tires, not just the tread depth. Look at the wear pattern. Even wear across the tread means the truck has been properly aligned and the suspension components are in decent shape. Wear on the inner or outer edges tells you there's an alignment issue, which usually means worn ball joints or tie rod ends. That's a repair that costs money. Factor it in. Check the bed. Look for cracks in the bed liner. Look at the tailgate hinges and the weather seal around the cab. Look at the bed floor for rust holes. A beat-up bed is normal on a work truck, but hidden rust under a spray-in liner can be serious. If the seller lets you, probe around the edges of the bed and under the tailgate with a screwdriver or your fingernail. Open every door. Check the door seals. Look at the floor pans for rust or water damage. A musty smell inside tells you water has gotten in somewhere. Look up at the headliner for water stains. Check all the windows. Make sure they go up and down. Check all the locks. Check the HVAC. Turn on the heat and the AC. Turn on the defroster. These things are easy to ignore and annoying to fix later. Start the engine cold if you can. A cold start tells you a lot. It should fire within a second or two. It might idle rough for the first 30 seconds or so. That's usually normal on cold mornings. What you're listening for is any ticking, knocking, or clattering. A faint lifter tick that clears up once the engine warms is usually nothing serious. A deep knock from the bottom of the engine is a rod bearing going bad. That's a serious engine problem. Don't buy that truck. Take it for a test drive. Go on the highway. Get it up to highway speed and hold it there for a few miles. Feel for any shimmy or vibration. A vibration at highway speed usually means tires out of balance or warped rotors. Get on the brakes hard from about 50 miles per hour. The truck should stop straight. It shouldn't pull to one side. You shouldn't feel pulsation in the pedal. Listen for any grinding or squealing. Drive it through a parking lot and turn full lock in both directions. Listen for any clicking or grinding from the front end. Clicking during turns on a four-wheel drive truck often means the CV joints are worn. That's a known expense on certain platforms. It's not necessarily a deal breaker, but you should know what you're getting into. Now let me talk about running a VIN check. You need to do this before you buy any private sale truck, period. no exceptions. The VIN is the 17-digit number on the dashboard, visible through the windshield. It's also on a sticker on the driver door jamb. Make sure those two numbers match. If they don't, that's a major red flag, possibly indicating the truck has been rebuilt from parts after a salvage. The best services for a quick VIN check are the National Motor Vehicle Title Information System lookup, which you can access through NMVTIS-affiliated sites, and paid reports from services like Carfax or AutoCheck. A Carfax report costs around $45 for a single report. That is the cheapest insurance you will ever buy. The report tells you the accident history, the number of owners, whether it was ever a fleet vehicle, whether it was reported stolen, and whether the title is clean or salvage. Salvage titles are not automatically bad trucks. I've bought salvage title trucks and gotten excellent deals, but you need to know before you buy. A truck with a clean Carfax and clean title is worth more. A truck with a salvage title should be priced significantly lower, and you should inspect it even more carefully for evidence of frame damage or substandard repairs. There are also free VIN checks available through the NHTSA website, which will show you any open safety recalls on the vehicle. Always check for recalls. Some recalls are minor, some are significant. If there's an open recall, the manufacturer is required to fix it for free at any authorized dealer. That's actually a selling point, or at minimum, not a reason to walk away. Let me give you the questions I always ask the seller. I ask these in conversation, not like I'm reading from a list. The first thing I ask is why they're selling. The answer tells you a lot. Upgraded to a newer truck is a good answer. It's been sitting for 2 years is a flag. It started having some issues is a flag. Listen to the hesitation more than the words. I ask if they have the service records. Sellers who have kept their trucks up will usually have records. They might not have every oil change receipt, but they'll have records from major services. A seller who gets defensive about this question or says, "I just did the oil changes myself without any paperwork," is someone to be cautious around. I ask whether the truck has ever been in an accident. Even if I have a Carfax report that shows nothing, I want to hear their answer. A seller who says no and the Carfax shows a minor fender bender in 2019 is someone who forgot about it. A seller who says no and the Carfax shows a major collision is someone who is being dishonest. Those are different situations. I ask how many miles a year they typically put on it and what they used it for. This tells me what kind of wear I'm dealing with. Highway miles are gentler on a truck than city driving. Light towing once in a while is different from hauling max payload every single week. I ask if there's anything about the truck they'd fix if they were keeping it. This is the question that catches sellers off guard. Most honest sellers will tell you something. I've been meaning to replace the front shocks. The passenger mirror motor is a little slow. That honesty is worth more than any Carfax report. Now let's talk about the independent inspection. Even if you know trucks, even if you've inspected it yourself, if the truck is worth more than about $5,000, you should get an independent pre-purchase inspection from a mechanic who has no stake in the sale. Most shops will do a PPI for somewhere between $75 and $150. That is nothing compared to buying a truck with a hidden problem. Tell the seller you want to take it to a mechanic before you finalize the deal. A seller with a clean truck will have no problem with this. A seller who balks at this request is someone who does not want a mechanic looking at the truck. That tells you everything you need to know. You arrange the appointment. You take the truck to the shop while the seller either comes along or waits. The mechanic puts it on a lift and goes through it. They check all the fluids, all the belts and hoses, all the suspension components, the brakes, the exhaust, everything they can see and access. They give you a written report. If something comes back in that report, you use it to renegotiate, or you walk away. Let's talk paperwork. This is the part that makes people nervous, and it shouldn't. Buying private sale is legally straightforward in every state. You need a clear title and a bill of sale. That's the foundation. The title is the document that proves ownership of the vehicle. The seller's name should be on the title as the owner. They sign the back of the title over to you. Do not accept a title that's already been signed over to someone else who isn't there. That's called a title jump, and it creates legal problems for you later. The seller should be the last name on that title. Before you hand over money, verify that the title is free and clear. This means no liens. A lien means someone, usually a bank, has a legal interest in the vehicle because money is still owed on it. If the truck has a lien, the bank's name will be on the title. The seller needs to pay off that loan and get the lien released before they can transfer a clean title to you. There are ways to structure the purchase to handle this, but you need to know what you're getting into. The bill of sale is a simple document that records the transaction. It includes the buyer's name, the seller's name, the vehicle description including VIN, the sale price, and the date. Both parties sign it. You can find templates for your state online in about 30 seconds. Print 2 copies. Both of you keep one. Once you have the signed title and the bill of sale, you take those documents to your county tax office or DMV to transfer the title into your name. Each state has different timelines and fees for this. In Texas, you've got 30 days to transfer the title or you start incurring late fees. Know your state's rules before you complete the transaction. On payment, never use cash for a large private sale. I know it feels more, quote, real and sellers like it, but carrying that kind of cash is a risk. Use a cashier's check from your bank made out to the seller's name. It's as good as cash from the seller's perspective. It's safer for you, and it creates a paper trail that protects both parties. Some buyers now use bank-to-bank wire transfer for larger amounts. That works fine too. So let's put some real numbers on this. I'll use a common example. You're looking for a 2018 or 2019 Ram 1500 crew cab, 4-wheel drive, with around 80 to 90,000 miles on it, in decent condition, clean title. At a franchise dealer or a large used car lot, that truck is going to be priced somewhere around $30,000 to $34,000 right now. They've reconditioned it. They've run it through their service department. They're going to try to sell you a warranty. They're going to try to put you in financing. Every step of that process has a margin baked in for them. On Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, a private seller with the same truck, same year, similar mileage, similar condition, is probably asking somewhere between $24,000 and $28,000. And private sale prices are negotiable in a way that dealer prices rarely are. If you know what you're doing, you can often get another $500 to $1,500 off the asking price. Do that math. You're talking about a difference of $4,000 to $8,000 on the same truck. That is real money. That's a year of truck payments. That's a new engine if you ever need one. That's 2 or 3 years of maintenance costs. It's not a small thing. The dealers don't want you doing this math. They'll tell you private sales are risky. They'll tell you you're protected when you buy from a dealer. They'll wave a certified pre-owned sticker at you like it's magic. But a CPO inspection is done by the dealer's own shop, and dealer recondition means they fixed what they had to fix to sell it. An independent pre-purchase inspection protects you just as well. It costs you $100 instead of several $1,000s in dealer margin. I'll be honest with you, private sale isn't the right choice for everyone in every situation. If you've got bad credit and you need in-house financing, a dealer might be your only real option. If you absolutely need a warranty to sleep at night, buying CPO makes sense. I understand that. But if you have cash or you're already pre-approved through your own credit union, private sale is almost always the better financial decision. Before I let you go, let me give you a few final things I've learned from doing this for decades. Be patient. The right truck at the right price requires time. Don't rush because you want a truck this week. Rushed buyers pay more and overlook problems. Give yourself 30 to 60 days of active searching. Drive a lot of trucks. Don't fall in love with the first one. The more trucks you look at, the better your calibration gets. You start to know what normal looks and feels like. Then when something is off, it's obvious. Walk away without guilt. If a seller gets emotional or pushy when you ask to have it inspected or when you make a reasonable offer, walk away calmly and don't look back. There are always more trucks. The scarcity mindset is something dealers deliberately create. In the private market, inventory is abundant. Trust your gut. After 38 years, I can tell within the first 5 minutes of talking to a seller whether I'm dealing with someone honest. You develop that same instinct after you've looked at enough trucks. If something feels off, it usually is. Private sale truck buying is a skill. The first time you do it, it feels unfamiliar. The second time, it's easier. By the third time, you'll wonder why you ever walked into a dealership at all. I've put this knowledge to work for myself and for people I care about. Now it's yours. Use it right.